What's up, my friend? Today I'll be reacting to Let's Talk About American Culture Shocks. Okay, this will be an interesting one. But before I go into that, can I ask you for one thing? If you can leave a like, thank you so much. It's the best way to show support. If you can subscribe, well, in that case, forget about it. You make my day. Have that in consideration. Now, link for the original video in my description. You guys end up recommending this one a lot. I love Lawrence. Let's play it.
Hello, I'm Lawrence, and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that...
Sean!
Filming, mate. Sorry.
I know there's a camera. Sorry, I'm looking for the lake. Where's the lake?
Lake Michigan. You can't. It's right there. It's the size of 4 Northern Islands.
That's a British accent. I think I know you from somewhere.
It's the glasses, isn't it? Gives it away. Yes, I am lost in the pond.
Lawrence.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey,
You're Sean. You're Sean. It's
You know what my friends actually love? They are doing this together. I love Lawrence, as you guys are aware. I react to a lot of his stuff. But recently I've been reacting to Sean, and his channel is also quite amazing. This will be an amazing collab, I can tell you.
the Scottish one. This is insane. What are you doing here?
I'm vlogging.
Let's vlog together.
Why not?
That's amazing.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Oh, that's a beautiful city. Wow. This is Michigan. I'm assuming because of the lake. This is beautiful.
So Sean, a lot of Americans tell me that they love an English accent, but they tell me that what they love more is a Scottish accent. So right now,
yeah.
I feel a little bit inferior.
With all the respect to my UK people, I'm actually Scotland is part of the UK, but English people, for example, they have a beautiful accent in my opinion, but Scottish, top quality.
Area. Have you, on your journey, I mean, have people said, anything about your Scottish accent? Have they asked you questions about it?
Yeah, actually, I get all the time people talking about the Scottish accent and asking me to do it for them, which is actually a really tough thing to do because my accent, when I speak now, like to you and other people here in the States, like I have this kind of softer accent, if you like.
Yep.
It's still Scottish, you can still identify it. And then when they ask me to speak how I would speak with my friends, I just can't do it. It's like a thing that's not natural.
Because it's so thick.
Yeah.
So thick that I wouldn't even understand it.
I think you might, but certainly like a lot of people wouldn't. So yeah, people ask all the time about the accent. They say they love it, just as it is now, to be honest. And it's really nice, actually. People do appreciate it, and
I find it
want to know
beautiful.
more about it. And I've actually heard quite a few people who are trying to learn like Scottish Gaelic, for example.
I see.
Wow.
Which is the next stage from that. But
That's advanced.
that's advanced, yeah.
Yeah, it was funny because I think when I moved here, people were obviously asking me to do my voice, my accent.
Yeah.
I felt a little bit like a performing monkey, but on the other hand, it was a nice icebreaker. We didn't have to, come up with something like phatic communication in order to move into the conversation. So I kind of liked it as an introvert. Do you feel the same?
Do you guys think if I go to America, people will also ask me where I'm from because of my accent? Or people would automatically assume it's from Russia? I know that this is a joke on this channel, I'm from Portugal, but I got a bunch of comments saying, how is Putin doing? I am like, I have no idea, man. But jokes aside, this actually happens quite a lot, so yeah.
Same way.
Like, I think British accents in general, but the Scottish accent travels quite well here.
Yep.
There's been a lot of times when I've just asked for something at like a shop or something, and the person, oh my God, where are you from? And then I say Scotland, and then they're really excited about it. It gets you into situations and it gets you like invited to places as well, like just the Scottish accent,
It's kind of like a superpower, isn't it?
It's like a superpower, absolutely. I was worried in the initial beginnings that people might not understand everything, and that's only happened a couple of times here, but most of the time people have understood everything.
My observations, doing the channel Lost in the Pond are quite English-centric,
Yeah.
so I focus on a lot of that. But as I've traveled around, I've seen a lot of things that remind
Oh, this is Pennsylvania, my friends. Oh, this is a beautiful, beautiful place.
me of England, a lot of kind of place names and things to do with English heritage. Have you detected any of that from a kind of Scottish standpoint?
Absolutely, like there's just so much here. And we were driving, for example, in Seattle the other week there, and we saw a place called Aberdeen. We didn't actually have time to go to Aberdeen, but I was fascinated by that fact. And then we also saw Fife, both places in Scotland. And actually, just about everywhere we've been here, we've found these little reminders of Scottish names that definitely people must have come here from these places in Scotland and set up a home here. And then when I speak to people about that, they often tell me about their ancestry or the ancestry of the people that settled the area. There's a lot of appreciation for that type of thing here.
By the way, any random, this is random actually, but anyone watching this channel actually have some type of, ancestry related with Scotland? If so, leave me a comment, my friend. I would love that. I would love to know more about you. Because I think Scotland is one of the coolest places in the world, actually. In the UK region, maybe my favorite country.
Obviously the English side, but the Scottish side as well.
So speaking of that kind of Scottish, background to things that are in the United States, you saw that most abundantly, didn't you, in North Carolina?
Yeah, North Carolina, they take it really seriously there because they can show like the boats that arrived along the East Coast in North.
Sorry, but did you guys saw the accent? In North Carolina, they take us really serious. Okay, that was bad, sorry. But I tried at least.
Carolina was one of the places that a lot of Scottish people settled, which is
North
actually shown in
Carolina?
the programme Outlander. They show the boats coming over from Scotland and landing there. And so a lot of people there today, they've got really Scottish names like McDonald and Ramsay and all the rest of it. We got homemade beef stew for lunch, and it is honestly one of the best ones I've ever had.
So on my channel, I talk a lot about what it's like to live.
I know I already said this, but if this is Pennsylvania, this is a beautiful place. I mean, no matter where it is, America tends to be quite beautiful, but I really like this landscape,
United States and some of the culture shocks that I experience, on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis and all of that. But I'm really interested because it's been so long since I visited the United States. And that's, of course, what you're doing right now, right? I'm so interested in your thoughts and some of the culture shocks you've experienced while traveling in the United States.
Yeah, I mean, there's some kind of bigger picture ones, and then there's some like silly ones as well. I guess the silly ones that you could definitely say are like everything seems bigger.
Okay, sorry. I'm gonna take a random guess right now. Those trees, this is in California, right? Because I believe is the place that have the oldest trees. Those are beautiful. Even if they are not in California, they are still beautiful. But I believe this is California.
Bigger and vaster. Even trucks on the highway are enormous.
Oh, yeah.
So that's always a bit of a fright when we see it. And then things like gas stations, for example. We stopped at one in Texas, Buc-ee's, and it was just like off the scale of
Buc-ee's.
anything I've ever seen before. So I guess bigger picture stuff.
I would love to visit Buc-ee's, my friends. I reacted to that already. There is a video on this channel about Buc-ee's. That stuff is giant, but I like it.
I feel people here are very much more enthusiastic about things, life in general, and things, and are very positive. There's lots of situations, for example, somebody will say something really nice to you out of nowhere, out of the blue, and we'll think that wouldn't have happened back in the UK.
This is the funny thing, isn't it? Because I think there's this belief that...
Oh, that's nice. No one compliments me in Portugal. Damn it. But I would love to go to America, not because of that, to be honest, but I really believe people there are really, really friendly, as long as you, of course, respect their space and stuff like that. But I really like Americans, This may sound weird to say, but I really do. And I know you guys like me, so that kind of helps.
British people are super polite, that we are almost too polite. But my experience is that Americans almost outdo us in terms of politeness.
Yeah, my feeling, we're polite in the UK, but it can be quite cold, whereas here, people are not just polite, but they're warm and open.
While we're on the subject of sort of British politeness or British sensibilities, you went out to Seattle, didn't you?
Yeah.
Now I hear that is one of the most sort of Britishy places in terms of weather and in terms of the personality of the people there. Did you get a sense of that?
That's really funny, actually. I think definitely the weather for a start.
Really?
I mean, it was quite chilly at times, and it was quite damp a little bit.
Was it overcast?
We had one really great day of sun and one overcast day, so a bit of both. And in terms of the people, I would say they were still very nice and embracing and warm, but maybe a bit less than other places we've been here.
I see.
So yeah, I would say definitely link that a little bit back to people in Britain.
Oh, the hot dogs.
So going back to culture shocks, when it comes to food, it's quite a lot different here, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
To what you'd expect in Britain. What's some of the sort of most...
That's funny, the way he said, oh yeah, trust me, I know. Let's run it back a bit. That was amazing.
So going back to culture shocks, when it comes to food, it's quite a lot different here, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
To what you'd expect in Britain. What's some of the sort of most surprising food that you've encountered?
Well, I think just in general, people don't like to use seasoning here.
Seasoning?
Yeah.
Do they?
I think we don't.
Oh.
In the UK, so things tend to be more tasty here in general.
That's a good point. People always say
I actually think this is true. The other day I was watching by myself, by the way. I don't react to everything I watch for you to know. But I was watching some barbecue. I believe it was in Texas actually. Joking, but I was watching someone explaining how to do barbecue because I wanted to try something at my home. And the amount of seasoning they ended up putting on that, and there was a specific brand. I was like, I cannot do this in Portugal. Like I cannot find that. The meat I can. That sounds weird, but the seasoning, no chance.
British food is a little bit bland.
Well, yeah, a lot.
They haven't had mushy peas.
They haven't had mushy peas, to be honest. But I would agree. Like I've come here, and so many basic things that we might have something similar in the UK, they're just better here.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, we had like a Italian beef sandwich.
Yeah.
It was roast beef. Like we have a lot of roast beef, but it was just tasted better here.
Better and bigger.
Bigger, much bigger. In New Orleans, we had a lot of like Cajun food, for example. And that was the most surprising for me because I didn't expect it. I'd never had it before. And it was just amazing.
Oh, this is more in the
I mean,
south,
the
right?
south in general actually has a lot of surprising dishes. My favourite dessert ever is pecan pie. If you ever get to try that, best thing in the world.
Yeah.
Now,
Pecan
while
pie.
you're on the road, speaking of food, while you're on the actual road and you had to get kind of travel food, what was that experience like? Did you find anything that you considered healthy?
Yeah, that's been tough, to be honest. I've definitely put on quite a few pounds here. There's a lot of good places. Like we found some really great diners that had all the kind of usual breakfast stuff. Chicken fried steak. Have you ever heard of chicken fried steak?
Never heard of it. Where did you see that?
What is
It
that?
was in this diner, and it was, I didn't know if it was chicken or steak, but I think it's beef. And it had batter on it.
Wow, this is
Great
getting more
idea.
confusing.
It was
Great
really confusing,
idea.
but it was very, very good, and that was
100%
very normal
good.
thing to have at a diner here.
Send me the address.
Yes, I will do that. But then, like just the basic things like hot dogs and burgers you find here and labour places. I mean, really, in the UK, when you have these kind of labour places, your only
Holy.
option is McDonald's or Burger King.
I see, yeah.
Where here you've just
Dude,
got
this is so true. In my city, I have McDonald's and Burger King. That's it, and I'm tired of both.
so many unique places that are unique to each state. Even in the Northwest, they had this Burgerville place that they only have there. Obviously, you get to California, they have In-N-Out, which they only have there. Well, I think it's expanding, but anyway.
Yes, it is. I tried In-N-Out and it went in and, well, we won't finish the sentence. You know, it is interesting you say that because a lot of states do have their own state dishes, and that's something I really love about this place is getting to try different foods from different places and identifying it with that place.
Yeah.
What are some other markers that you've been able to identify with a particular place? Let's say California. What stood out to you that said,
What
yes,
sign is that?
this is California?
California.
Oh, so I believe that's the same place where he was recording the trees. So maybe I was correct about those trees being in California.
It's a funny one because we were unlucky when we got there because the weather wasn't as good as we thought it could be. It was actually pretty chilly.
Whereabouts was this?
We started in the far north of California, San Francisco, and then driving down to LA. And I expected it to be, really hot. But no, the stunning coastline there, I think, really stood out to me. And LA was just an explosion of different senses. And I'd never really expected LA to be. I didn't know what to expect from LA, but it was very, I don't know, confusing in some ways. But I liked it. Oh, it's Stuart right there. Look. I want to find all the famous Scots.
I think it was
LA is very
Austin
famous.
Powers who said that Southern California is in no way like England. I suspect you got that sense that it was otherworldly.
It was otherworldly. I felt very strange being through there and driving on the coast. But I accidentally had a Mustang as well, a convertible Mustang. So I felt like we had the full California
boy.
experience in that sense. But yeah, LA, I didn't really feel I got to know the city and got to get to grips with it. I expected it to be one city, but rather it's a collection of cities
Oh, right.
in one place.
Yeah.
California, I think, is a place I want to go back and learn more about because it's so big and, we drove through it in about 4 or 5 days and I feel like it's quite a short amount of time to get a handle of somewhere that's probably just as big as the UK.
And this seems to be a common theme, based on some of the conversations I've had with you and just what you were saying there, is the vast size of America. And you were quite surprised, weren't you, that you feel like you've almost had to rush every experience because it's not England, it's not the UK, I should say, where you can just get from one place within
This makes
hours.
sense.
Absolutely. So I think that's the thing we learned first of all when we arrived. We arrived in the Northwest first, so Seattle, Portland, and then we drove to the border of Oregon and California. Google Maps here cannot be trusted. So, it might say, oh, that'll take 4 hours. As well, because there's a lot of nice places to stop and take pictures, but you find it takes double the time that you expect it'll take. Doing these kind of driving experiences, you really, really see how big this place is. The one time we did a loop from Oregon to the coast and then down.
You know what, my friends? I think this will also shock me a bit when I go to America because, America is so big that I know we look at the map and we can see that, but I believe when we are in America, we realize, okay, the logistics are not that easy. If I'm in Texas, it's not like I can go to California right away. I probably have to take a plane or a crazy road trip. So yeah, this makes sense.
Through a place called Willow Creek, which is where Bigfoot is from, and it took the entire day, and I was actually knackered and worried we wouldn't get there at the hotel in time, and I just realised, well, this is just a tiny corner of the States.
Yeah.
It's a tiny part of it, and it took up the whole day.
Did you see Bigfoot?
We didn't, but I tell you what, I stopped the car 15 minutes outside of Willow Creek. This is before I knew it was Bigfoot country. I got out of the car, I looked up, I could see all the stars, and I looked around and thought, we're in the middle of nowhere here. I heard some rustling, and I got back in the car, and we drove off.
Unbelievable. Did you have a camera on yourself that was in kind of infrared and there's sort of snot running down your nose?
Texas?
Speaking
That's
of
cool.
size, you made it down into Texas, which is roughly the size of 2.5 UKs.
Wow.
Right, so if you're driving through there, it can take hours, days, right, to get to 2 points of interest. Did you drive through Texas quite a bit?
We did. We drove from San Antonio to Houston, which Houston, San Antonio, Austin, they're in a little bit of a triangle together, bunched up. We drove for like 4 hours or something like that.
Right.
A small part of it. I mean, it was good to get that Texas
Okay.
driving experience.
Sure.
And by the way, everything there is huge as well.
Yeah.
The lanes are huge, the trucks are huge,
The cowboy hats?
the cowboy hats are pretty big as well. But we didn't really see, I don't feel like we got to see all of Texas. We kind of got that corner where the main cities are. But that was some experience. I really enjoyed it down there.
Oh, I would love to visit Texas. One of my
Yeah,
favorite
so a lot of
places
Americans,
in America.
you know, often tell me that the Alamo, oh, it's a bit overrated because, you know, it's just this small building. But I often wonder, is that
The Alamo, see guys, let's see my knowledge. I believe represents a historic point between the Battle of Mexican Texas, independence of Texas. I might think something stupid, but I think it is that.
because they're used to everything being so big in this country and it's just not as impressive? And you being from Scotland, because I've never seen it, I've never been to the Alamo. Was it something that you found kind of impressive from a historical standpoint?
Yeah, definitely from the visual point, it is kind of small. There's not much to it. I mean, you can go through and there's a little walk in the back, but really it's the shell of an old building. If you imagine like a kind of church size, and that's it. Really, I think the reason why the local people in Texas love it and really cherish it and tell the story is about the history and the story and not about the building itself. Because actually, San Antonio and very close by has a lot of really old buildings from that time period that are very, very awesome. But that's the one that has the story of the Alamo defenders. But then, you know, I heard some comments from other people from different places around the United States and they said it in joke, but they said, I'm not sure why the Texans love it so much because they lost. But for me, it was really great to learn about the Scots that were involved in that place as well.
Oh, I see. What was the story there?
So a number of the people who were at the Alamo defending it and who died were either directly Scottish or they were 2 or 3 generations Scots.
And now speaking of the kind of the Scottish history there and also the locals,
you guys know that?
You had a nice surprise, right? Was this from the mayor of
Yeah. So it's kind of a funny story and I still can't believe it happened, and it was a really nice surprise. So there's a Scottish Society of San Antonio.
Yeah.
It was really great. So those guys met me. First of all, there was a guy with kilt and bagpipes and he was going to pipe us into the Alamo, which was amazing. But then a guy called Andrew Morrison arrived, and he is a Viscount, Sir Andrew Morrison, and he's also the chief of the Clan Morrison as well. His grandfather was the Speaker of the House of Commons. He's lived in Texas for 30 years. He's well established with the local community, still has a British accent, which is quite good.
Oh, that's
But
amazing.
But anyway, we arrived there and he presented us and he had a speech for it. The certificate that gave myself and my wife honorary citizenship for the city of San Antonio, signed by Mayor Ron Nidenberg, I think his name is.
So symbolically,
How great is that, my friends? Please tell me, how great is that? That's amazing. I was not aware of. Should I react to that, by the way? I probably should, right? Leave me the number 11 if you think I should react to that specific video. That seems a lot of fun.
in theory, you are now a US citizen.
Well, I don't exactly know. I would like to think so. Like, if anybody is watching who would like to elaborate or would like to adopt me, then great. I think, though, it's more symbolic.
We can check on the legal validity of this document at a later time. Not to stick on Texas too long, but the reason I do is that I've never been there except for Dallas-Fort Worth Airport. So I'm fascinated by this. You got the chance to go to a rodeo, correct?
Yeah, so again,
boy.
it was the guys from the Scottish Society of San Antonio. My wife and I thought, yeah, that's a good Texan experience, and we really wanted to try it. So yeah, we went out to this rodeo, and yeah, it's very different from anything that we've ever
have to react
seen or
to
done
that.
before. And we just felt like, yeah, this is the Texas I imagined in my head.
And
Illinois.
then your next stop,
Low-key, Illinois is a beautiful place. I've been seeing a couple of videos about Illinois. Surprises me a lot. My friend, quick pause on this one. First of all, hope you are enjoying the video. If that's the case, do not forget to leave a like and subscribe. But let me share with you one thing. I have a Patreon community where I put content almost every day, a lot of early access videos. So if you want to get them, go to my Patreon, link on my description. And this is of course a good way to support the channel. That said, let's continue with this one, and I hope you have fun. I like Illinois.
suppose was here, right?
Yeah, Chicago.
Chicago, the motherland, as we don't call it at all. You only had a few days to be here. We got to go to a Cubs game. That was fantastic.
Wrigley Field.
Wrigley Field. This was your first
Oh, I'm a bit confused, my friend. So this is Chicago.
experience of a baseball game, I understand.
Yeah,
nice.
first time, you know, I watched a little bit on TV. I think it was in the Olympics last time around as well. It's really different being there. I really enjoyed it. You know, it was different from any other sport that I'd been to. I don't know what you felt, but for me it was like a really nice atmosphere, like family friendly.
I think we joked in the video about how it was very dull and we were falling asleep because we didn't understand the rules, but the truth of the matter was we really did enjoy the kind of the ambience of being in Wrigley Field and people cheering every 5 minutes, even though the score didn't seem to increase at all.
Yeah.
But you made an observation, I think, during that game that a lot of words that are readily available in all forms of English, British English, American.
Okay, I have a question from... I'm trying to learn more about America, as you guys are aware. And this is a conclusion I have been getting, but I could be wrong, so I would love if you correct me. So, in the Midwest, it's fair to say that baseball is very popular. And in the South is more American football. Am I saying something off? But this is the feeling. I know American football, you guys just call it football, I'm aware. But I know football is popular in the entire country and probably the same thing for baseball. But if we had to split, would be fair to say that Midwest baseball, the South football? I don't know. That's a question for you, my friend.
American English, Canadian English, etc., came from baseball, right? I can't think of any other sport that's kind of been able to do that with the language in a worldwide way. You don't hear Americans saying back of the net, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think
That's a great point. Okay, let's run it back. I never thought about that, but there is a lot of expressions that came from baseball.
in all forms of English, British English, American English, Canadian English, etc., came from baseball, right?
Sorry, let's pause it. Cover your bases. Yeah, I'm aware of this one. Hit a home run. I'm also aware of this one. About park figure. This one I don't understand that well, my friend. Throw a curveball. I can assume what it means. Try something that is difficult for the others to understand or to catch, actually.
Can't think of any other sport that's kind of been able to do that with the language in a worldwide way. You don't hear Americans saying back of the net, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
I think that was fascinating and definitely something that appealed to my linguistic sensibilities. Thank you for that. What are your overall impressions of Chicago as a Scottish person coming here?
I didn't really do any planning when we arrived here before we come. I didn't really research that much. You know, I might have watched a couple of videos on YouTube, and of course I've watched all your videos as well, but I didn't know what to expect really, and I love it. It's a beautiful city. It's huge, despite being so huge, with all these massive skyscrapers around us. You got these amazing green spaces like this one here, and then the zoo you just took us through as well, which is free, phenomenal. The food experience as well is fantastic.
Free? Oh, I have to go to Chicago. 100%.
There's so many different types of food, the hot dogs, the pizza, the Italian food in general. You know, it's not been enough time here, but I really can say that this might be one of the contenders for my favourite stop of this tour so far.
Wow.
And can we just get it on record that you are not contractually obligated to say these things merely because I'm sitting here? You actually believe it.
I mean, I could say I'm saying these words with my own free will.
That's fantastic. Well, Sean, it has been fabulous meeting you for the first time.
Amazing meeting, my
And
friends.
I hope you enjoy the rest of your trip around the United
Leave a like
States.
if you also
You're
had
going to
fun.
be documenting all of this, right, in video form. You've done, what, 40 videos so far?
Yeah, 40 videos of the trip. It's a bit of a kind of road trip, so it's episode by episode. We've even done behind the scenes for this video of today, walking around, and then Wrigley Field. And
Yeah, great. So where can people check you out?
so yeah, on YouTube it's Sean Vlog. Instagram, I guess.
Your Instagram game is way better than mine, friend. I've already said that.
But YouTube's my thing. I love YouTube like you, and that's where I love to. That's where everybody is. That's where the cool folks are.
Absolutely. Well, the links to that will be down below.
I-
Be on the lookout
I
for
also
more
love
of
YouTube.
Sean's videos. I think they're going to be pretty amazing.
More than
I'm
Instagram,
looking
for
forward
sure.
to them myself.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
Oh, this was fantastic. I mean, let's be real. Lost in the Bound is one of the best channels on YouTube. That said, my friends, hope you end up enjoying this one. And I'm learning a lot on this, so this was really worth my time. And that's it for today, my friends. Hope you end up enjoying this video. If that's the case, do not forget to leave a like. Also consider to subscribe if you are new to my channel. And also let me remember you about one thing. I have a Patreon community. I put videos there a bit earlier than I put on YouTube. So if you want to support me and have access to early content, go to my Patreon. I will leave a link on my description. Take a look at that. You can also scan the QR code you'll be seeing here, and that's it.